All right, so Jade, you're 22 years old. You've had an AI company, a handyman company, and now you're starting a coffee company. So you've taken a very unconventional path for the average 22-year-old. And I remember when I first saw your Instagram, I was just like, WTF. Like, that immediately caught my attention. You're running this handyman company with no trades experience and just doing something completely out of the ordinary. And I was like, okay, this is so cool. So what I really want to know first off is, where does that mindset come from of being super ambitious, like wanting these great things in life, but also just not being afraid to do something a bit different?
My entire life, my dad has been like a business coach, and he used to put on like he used to be like one of the top like business training and consulting companies in Canada, and they did like big in-person events of like hundreds of people to like thousands of people, and he and my mom ran that company together my whole life. And then I would skip school and like go to all of their events as a kid. And then like when you also are in that environment, you start to meet like other speakers who are in that environment. And then like my dad would go speak on stages, or people would come speak on his stages, and then you have all of these like really really well-known speakers like all kind of like coming in and out of your life, and you just get in conversations with them, and then you just start to be around this like atmosphere of like these just people who just like speak so much about like build your own dream, don't build someone else's, like your energy dictates your results, like the quality of your life is the quality of your questions, and like so many like things like that just get nailed into your brain. And I mean to be fair, when you're a kid or like it's coming from a parent, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, like sure, like you don't really take, I don't know, you just don't like, sometimes you don't take the information from your parents till like a bit later in your life. And just that atmosphere alone, like my dad is all like my mom too, have both been people to be very much like go after what you want. Like, yeah, it was like a very opposite household, I feel like, of a lot of people who like want to be like founders or get into like entrepreneurship or anything like that. Like they like there are parents out there who like don't support that as much, and they're like, no, like going like this route is a lot like safer and there's a lot more security. And my parents were like, do it, like please do it. So that's like kind of where all of that, I guess, came from.
I remember you mentioned in an Instagram post you were like 10 or 12 years old having a mental breakdown because you didn't have a business.
Dude, I remember like my first like business, if you want to call it that, was I was like 10, and I really wanted to sell cupcakes at one of my dad's events. And he had like an event with like, I don't know, let's say like 500 people going. And I was like, if I could sell cupcakes for like $2 each to like everybody, that's like $1,000. And when you're 10, that's like a,
A million.
that's $1 million right there. And then I baked like, I don't even know how many cupcakes, not enough. I make like 180 or something. And went to his event, had all these cupcakes made. I worked so hard when I was 10. And then I get to the hotel, because they were all hosted at like conference rooms of hotels. And the hotel was like, I'm sorry, like you can't bring in outdoor food into like our convention rooms. And then I was like, what? And it like broke my heart, and I like thought I failed. And then everybody at my school got like a free cupcake that day. I went to a really small school, and I was so sad as a 10-year-old, which is like kind of crazy to think back. Like saying that story now doesn't even feel like it's me, because it's like I almost like I don't even like really like remember it, but I remember it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's just, yeah, that was like my first, I remember like that really clearly, of just like the aftermath of that was like you're around all these people who like preach business your whole life, that when you are around that so much, like yes, it's super positive because like the support is amazing and everybody wants you to win, but then there's like, as a kid you feel so much pressure to go out and win, and you feel so much pressure to like do something for yourself and do something young, and everyone's praising you for being young and being like so getting out there and blah blah blah, and then all you want to do is make everybody happy, and then you end up just like being 10 and being extremely stressed that you don't own a business. And then my parents like halted all the business talk for like 2 years. Kind of. It wasn't like tracked, but like they were like, we're gonna give you like a break. And then when I got into high school, we kind of like started being like, how we feeling again.
But I feel like having that pressure is a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. I think that it depends on the person. It depends what you do with it. Like I think it's, in so many scenarios you can put two people in the exact same situation and they'll come out of it with different perspectives, or they'll come out of it with different like reasons they feel a certain emotion about something. I could say something to you that you might think is like nice, and I could say it to somebody else and they might think it's rude, and then you just like it's everyone's own interpretation. I think I came out of it with like a very like positive outlook on like being like this is what I want to do, and like I agree, like I want to be one of those people who like dreams big and then like executes and like does all these things, and like whatever motivational quote I can like say that will like be like the right kind of thing. But like I think it's good. I think that it makes you like push yourself out of your comfort zone. You learn your own like you learn how to push yourself, you learn how to be motivated, you understand like the ability to be like self-aware or like whatever. I also think that like certain people can get really like judgmental about the way other people start living their lives. Like if someone chooses to go into like a more traditional like 9 to 5, or they want to go work in finance, or they want to go into med, like it's so easy for other people to then be like think that like this lifestyle is the right lifestyle, when in reality like who gives a fuck? Like I think it's great. Like I think all of them are great. Like I think everybody has their own purpose, own impact, own story, own lane to run in. And if this isn't your lane, then don't do it. Like if you don't want to, like literally don't do it. And I think that but the pressure's good in the scenario of like if it's something that motivates you. If pressure motivates you, then it's good. But if pressure doesn't motivate you, then your reaction might be like, this is too much. I don't want to be here. And like it won't motivate you. You could be motivated by like impact or like other things, like, but pressure doesn't motivate everybody.
Well, I think it is good to be in some kind of environment like that at a young age, even if some people might say like, oh, just live your life, like have like a normal childhood. I think that is really good, because it expands your mind so young. Like you grow up seeing what's possible in the world, seeing what you can do.
It's so interesting when you say like normal childhood, because it's like, to me, I think like what is normal? Like the way I grew up is my normal.
Yeah.
Of being in these rooms, like being like, I don't know how many kids went to like hundreds of like business conferences before they were 16. Like that was my normal though. Like all of these rooms and situations like is my normal. And it's so interesting because then somebody else's normal will be like just completely different or completely opposite. Or there are so many scenarios where people have like like I have a very privileged home life. Like I know that 100%. And like that is my normal. So it's so interesting. Like that's why I think like everyone like you can't even play the game of comparison, because we're literally only competing against ourselves. Like I can't even compare myself to somebody else, because like they had a different life with a different childhood with a different normal than my normal.
So you're telling me you ran a crystal business when you were 16?
Yeah. Yeah, me and my sister actually went to like a crystal wholesale warehouse when she was like 18 maybe. Like she went there with a family friend of ours who made jewelry, so she like sourced her gemstones from this place. And then my sister went there. My sister was very, very into crystals, and then my sister realized like how cheap you can buy rocks for and how much they actually like sell for, and that like there was a really good margin there. Yeah. And then she was like, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool to like buy crystals and like sell them online. And then she kind of was like that would be a cool idea, like like that would be cool. And then I was like, no, like we should do it. And then she was like, we should do it. And then I told her that I would learn like all the techie stuff, like how to actually set up like the website and the store and ads and like I don't even know, like the bookkeeping, like the random stuff. And then she was more like the face. Like she did all of our social media. She was the one who like picked out all the rocks. She was the one who like, I don't know, did all these like micro actions that like needed to be done to like make it happen. And then me and her ran it together for like a year and a quarter maybe. And then she quit, but we were not like a good duo together. Really? Like we are like, I will like stand that we are like probably some of the most opposite siblings like ever. We are just like complete opposites, but like it's what makes us have a really good bond. But it's also like what makes our working relationship like not that healthy, because like she is like a quality over quantity, which is 100% makes sense. But I'm like she'll put in like 4, 5, 6 really, really good hours of work and be like, okay, cool. Like work is done for the day. Like I've got this. I've done my tasks. And then I'll be like, I've done my tasks. How can I get started on tomorrow's tasks? And then I'll like pull like a 14 and then I'll be like, why aren't you working this much? And then she'll be like, why are you working this much? And she's like, bro, we sell rocks. And I'm like, yeah, but we could do that. I don't know. We just like were really incompatible in our work styles. And like, it's not like I was right or she was right. We just like literally did not mesh very well. And yeah, working with family siblings is like really interesting too because like, I don't know, little stuff of like, I go hang out with my friends or she goes and hangs out with her friends. And then you start to like, why are you going out? Why are you going out? And then, like it's just, we just weren't the best together.
Like there's so many people who say like, oh, don't do business with your friends or your family. And I think a lot of the time, yeah, that definitely is true.
Interesting. Have you ever worked with friends or family?
I'm trying to think. I'm an only child actually. So I've never like had any family to work with. I'm actually super grateful. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, doesn't that suck being an only child?" And I'm like, "No, it's actually really nice." I feel like that's
your normal though. It's like, what else are you gonna know?
Yeah, and I feel like that's the thing that's really made me independent, made me into business, and like made me super ambitious in the first place. So I love it, honestly.
Why do you think being an only child made you feel ambitious?
That's a really good question. You're interviewing me now. The main thing was because as an only child, I didn't really have any siblings to fight with. I could just do whatever I wanted when I wanted. And I think that definitely gave me a sense of high agency. Like I just did whatever the fuck I wanted. I didn't like I wasn't always thinking, "Oh, what's someone going to think of me?" Or like I got to ask somebody for permission to do this. Like no, I just went and did it. So I always had the mindset where it's like, if there's something I want to do, no one's going to stop me. I'll just do it. And I think another thing was I worked a job for 6 months. I've only worked one job in my life. And I just hated working for someone else. I hated someone telling me what to do. And also, something I was actually going to bring up in the podcast was I got bullied, and I feel like I was just kind of an outcast in elementary, middle school when I was super young. And I remember you were talking about getting bullied in like a couple of your reels. But for me, I think that's been a really big thing that's made me who I am today.
In my life, like I'm someone who walks away from high school and I'm like, that was great. Like I loved high school. Like I really, like I was one of those people who had like a really positive, like that was a good experience. 'Cause a lot of people don't have good experiences in high school, I feel. Or like it maybe is more normalized to like be like, those were the like just most awkward years and whatever. I had a lot of really, really amazing friends. I still have a lot of my friends from high school. For me, like they were just like more like actions that shaped a lot of like me or the way I thought about like myself or how I moved through the world, that it wasn't necessarily like, oh, like you're being bullied. It's like, damn, they were mean. Like those are really mean moments that happened to you. And it was like, there are definitely some ones that like really show a lot of like how I like flow through the world now, or like friendships that like weren't serving me, but maybe it was like just the combination of us together wasn't good, or like, like like when you're young, like boyfriends who aren't like the treating you the best or whatever, and then you think that's normal because it's the world you live in. And then I feel like when you leave high school, you meet more people, and like even the friends I had, I still have from high school that are really close to me now. Like we've all grown together, and like there's a couple of us girls that are like all still friends from high school. And it's so interesting that like other people from high school probably think that we're all still the same versions of ourselves as like when we were like, I don't know, 17. But like that version of myself when I'm 17, like kind of like doesn't really exist. Like she does in the past, but not as like a present self. And like there are elements of her that obviously are still me. Like we're the same person. But like that version of myself 17, like I definitely feel like if you look at like, I don't even know, it's like literally like you just feel like you keep leveling up. And then yeah, I don't know, dude, it's crazy. But I definitely think that like other people's actions definitely can like shape you so much, just like what you do with them. Like if you took like somebody being mean to you or bullying you and like you wore it so much and you like let it sit on you and you let it like weigh you down, that's going to impact you more than being like, like fuck this whole thing. Like, are you serious? Like it's like not like people can be so mean. And like yeah, it's just insane to me like how much it can shape you. But I definitely think that like a lot of like my high school experience, I walk away with being I'm definitely like a million times more confident as a person than I was in high school. Like,
Same.
oh my
Yeah.
God. I can't even I would like love to meet my high school self and be like, what are you doing, dude? Like this is crazy.
Why do you think you're a lot more confident?
I think that through certain like friendships and relationships, I learned that it was like okay to have an opinion and it was like okay to want to do your own thing and you're allowed to disagree and you're allowed to do this. I think that I had like some relationships where I didn't feel like I was allowed to like disagree or have my own opinion or like want something different than other people or whatever it might be. I also like was a huge people pleaser, like huge. Like I just really wanted to be liked. Maybe that's just I mean, I think everybody has a need to like want to be liked a bit, but like in high school I was like at my peak of that feeling. And now I like couldn't I still care, but like I don't like people aren't saying mean things and I'm like holding it the way I used to in high school. Like I really definitely wasn't as confident and it's more I think it was like a self-belief thing. Like I wasn't confident in me, therefore what other people said about me was like, "Oh, if you're describing me that way, that must be who I am." Versus being like, "No, no, no, like I know I'm not that way." And then whatever anyone described me as or said about me or like told me I was doing, like became my personality, whether they were right or wrong.
That's so crazy because I felt the exact same way.
Yeah. What would you say like your experience is around that or around confidence in high school?
The first couple of years of high school, I definitely wasn't confident at all. And then I started to make a lot more friends, like into a phase I was throwing parties like that. And then I started my first business when I was like 16. And then I think from that actually, I met so many new friends. And then I think from starting a business, I kind of found myself. So that helped my confidence a lot. But then again, like I was still same with you. It was like I was still a people pleaser. And I still kind of had that thing in the back of my head where other people dictate my value. And if somebody says something about me, then oh, that must be who I am. And like I never had the mindset of like, oh, you disagree with me? Well, fuck you.
I was like, you disagree? I must be wrong. Like, I'm like,
Exactly.
that's like what I would think. And I'm like, and then I look back at that version of myself and I'm like, what? Like, it's just insane. Like, like it's just like completely different people. And like, I got out of like two different people that I knew that like, I just don't think that like we were compatible as people. And like, I wasn't as strong of a personality or like as strong, like, in myself of like who I was, that I just was like in relationships that just made me feel like I just like people pleasing was like the norm, or like I always was kind of like on this like, let me just make sure that you're happy, like
Yeah,
you're
I've had
happy.
that as well.
And it's so interesting now to like just look back at that version of myself and be like, dude, what were you doing? Like, it's crazy how much like you can really learn. And like, I can imagine myself like 2 or 3 years from now looking back on me now and being like it's gonna be the same exact thing of being like, I can't believe that Jade when she was 22 was doing this or saying these things or whatever, because you're just gonna keep learning. And then yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I think cringing when you look at your past self, that's one of the best signs. Because that shows that you've grown. I find I cringe at myself 2 months ago.
That's true. Like if I look back and I was like, yeah,
ago.
yeah, I'm like the same way. Sometimes I look back at like old video content and I'm like, why did I ever think that I should post that? Like in the cringe way. Like I'm like, how did I ever look at that and think that that was good? And then like I know I'm gonna look back on myself now and be like, a video I posted today, I'll look back on it in 3 years and be like, why did I ever think that video was good?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, damn, like it really goes to show like how deep things are and how deep things aren't. Like it's yeah, and like you could think that like it's the end of the world if like I don't know, you get like a hate comment or something, and then like does it gonna matter in like a year, 5 years, 10 years? Like who cares?
Yeah, or even in 2 days.
No, in 2 days I'd still be like, damn, they hate me. Damn, but
The The way I look at that too is hate comments and other people's judgment stops so many people from posting. It's like there's so many people who they really want to post on Instagram or something, or they want to start making content, but they know people are going to see and make fun of them. It's like, yeah, people are going to hate on you. Like, people from your high school probably will make fun of you. But what's worse, someone making fun of you and then hurting for 2 seconds, or like being on your deathbed looking back and being like, oh shit, I didn't do anything I actually want to do with my life.
Damn, dude. I posting for me has been one of the biggest changes I've like done in my life. And like I know my social media, like I'm still learning it. I'm still understanding like how to get it like whatever, how to like document my life properly, or how to be like I think I'm good at being authentic, but I think there's like how do you get more real and more connected to your audience. And it's so like I have like I don't know, like not I'm like I'm like micro on the internet, like extremely micro on the internet. And it's crazy to me because it's like how much my life has changed while being micro on the internet. Like you don't have to have like big numbers. I have like amazing friends that I've met through Instagram, and they like following or not, like it doesn't actually matter anymore. Like you just meet great people because you put yourself out there. And then like my favorite thing about posting is that you open doors that you wouldn't have been able to even know you had access to. Yeah. And it's just people find you, and then you're not out looking for opportunities. People end up looking for you, and you literally never know what could come from it. Like every friend that I've made through Instagram, like I met my boyfriend on Instagram. I've had numerous like trips because of Instagram, and like I would literally have, how am I supposed to meet like these guys who like sell Pokemon in Virginia? Like how would you ever get there? Yeah. You don't. And then like posting, like whether it's like cringe or not, like honestly, like I don't even think about it as cringe anymore. I literally don't even like think, I used to like feel like that like anxiety when I hit post and be like, everyone's gonna see it, because I turned my normal Instagram account from high school into like I switched it over, and like I think that was like definitely a scary move. But I like when I came out of high school, I just had this like confidence that I was like, I'm out of high school, I'm just gonna like it's fine, like I'm just gonna do it. And then yeah, it's been fun. I like it. I like making content.
Yeah, I think same here. And it's crazy the people you meet and also who's watching that you don't even know. Yeah. Like, for example, I do ads for my detailing business. And I was at this networking event yesterday with a bunch of entrepreneurs. And I swear like 5 or 6 people recognized me, all from those ads. No way. Yeah. And I get recognized all the time from those. Like, one of my good friends, I met him at the gym because he recognized my ads.
Damn, dude. Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, but you just never know who's watching any of this stuff.
No, you don't. And like, and it's like, it also goes to show like, it's just so interesting to me, like the network that you can meet so quickly gets there. Like you look at like, I don't even know, like you start posting online and like 1 or 2 people reach out to you. And like, I even have some people who like reached out to me through like DMs, and like we got connected. And then, because I try and answer like as many DMs as I can, and we got connected, and we just went back and forth. And then they were like also people around the same age, or maybe a little bit younger, a little bit older, who are doing businesses. They don't post online at all, but they were like, I just see that you're young and like you're going for this, and like I'm doing the same thing. This is what I'm doing. And then there's just like this weird feeling I get about them where I'm like, no, like we'd actually be friends. And then I like have made them into my friends. And then it's like kind of fun, because then it's like, it wasn't because we met because like, oh, you post and I post and you have XYZ followers and I have XYZ followers and now we're friends. It's just like, dude, like this isn't about like how many followers you have or anything like that. I just love meeting other young founders, and especially like I feel like you can meet like a lot, but then the ones that you find that you like really love spending your time with, or you like really love like their drive or what they're going after or how they approach the world, is like, dude, you're so sick. And then like you just attach together. Like I have like this one guy who like started like a like you know how people are like playing with like gum, like not playing, but like the idea of like electrolyte gum or caffeine gum or whatever. You've never heard of that? No. Like the gum industry to me is like gum maxing right now. Like literally, like people are just like
You
putting
Max?
like I haven't tried any of these things, but like people are putting like so much stuff in gum, or like there's just like this move for like healthy products for like that are very like accessible and easy, and like you're optimizing and whatever. Electrolyte gum, like this kind of stuff where you chew gum and it, like hydrates you. I couldn't tell you.
I actually tried Looks Maxing gum once.
But there's this one kid who has like a gum venture like this, and like he just DM'd me, and then we got on a call, and I was like, dude, you're so sick, like you're super nice, like we should just like call me anytime, doors always open. And then he like, well, like the other day or like last week he called me and he's like, dude, I want to go to Miami and like there are these investors there. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, what should I do? And I was like, dude, like totally up to you, maybe this. And then I was like, if I meet more CPG investors, I'll send them your way. And then we just like have built like such a good friendship. And he was like just someone who followed me, and like, you know, he doesn't post on the gram, and it's just like, it's just fun to meet people.
Yeah, so I want to get more into your AI company. So I know we talked about this a bit before the podcast. How did you get started with AI? Because you started that before AI was really a thing, before every 16-year-old on the internet was running some kind of AI company. You were like the OG.
Dude. AI agency. I went to an event. Like I went, like as I said, like my dad was like in the speaking world doing all these events, and he's still like in the last like couple of years, like last 4 years, he'd still like go to events once in a while. He doesn't like throw them anymore or speak at them really, but he like is still a part of events or like knows people who throw them. So there was a period of time where I like went to like a bunch of events with him, like kind of like post COVID when events were kind of coming back. And I was like, I literally am just working at home right now. Like I was like, didn't have the crystal company. All my friends were in university and I was working in interior design, and I was like, I just would love to go to these events with you. Like, you never know. Went to an event and there was a guy who was like talking about AI, and he was showing all these examples of like things that you could do. And like, to be fair, like now they'd probably be like the most simple things ever. It's like the kind of stuff that like isn't really even AI at that point. Like I remember one of the examples was like a software they could like I think it was like an app that was like AI where they could put on your phone, and it was like one of those ones where if you're recording yourself, you can have your script like telepromptered on your screen while your camera's on. You've seen that?
Probably.
You know, like it's like if you have your home screen open or like your camera open and it's facing you and you're making like a yap video or like a talking head video, it's like your script would like teleprompter on, so it would look like you're just like speaking, and like stuff like that like didn't exist at the time. And then it wasn't necessarily AI, but it was kind of like generative. I don't know. Like it was like the very, very beginning, and like ChatGPT like kind of hadn't come out yet. And there was just like learning about automations and like how you put workflows together and like all of this stuff. And then I just understood it. And I just think it's like this like, we're Gen Z, right? Yeah. I think it's just like this Gen Z, like, dude, why do I not know that? We're just like this like Gen Z brains who just grew up on tech and just like get it. Like I didn't have we didn't grow up the same way that people grow up on tech now, but we grew up like, you know, I just feel like when you're like 13 and you get a phone and then you have access to the internet, you like watch the internet. Like we've watched it develop. Like we've watched Instagram become what it is now. We've been there since like the very, very beginning, I feel like, you know.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. And like since I don't know, like I can remember getting Instagram and it was like the old blue and like what the old app used to look like and like all this stuff. Like yeah, and then and I think that we just get tech, it just comes quite simply, like not simply, but like, you know, it's like a lot more natural because I think that we just like learned all the buttons and like whatever, it just comes to us. And then from that event, I was like, AI, this is like so interesting, so sick. Chat comes out, get really into that. Insane. Go to another event with my dad and meet another guy in AI. And then I go up to this guy in AI and I'm like, hey, like, you don't know me, but like, I would do anything to be your protege. Like, can I please work for you? And then he was like, you know what? I love it. But you're going to need to prove to me that you can work for me. And I was like, okay, like, say less. So then he was like, to prove to me like your skill, like he's like, I want you to go through my event. And he was running an AI event in San Diego, and it was like if it was like Wednesday, it was on like starting Friday morning. So he's like, you have one day to get to San Diego. We're in Florida at this point. And I was like, okay, like say less. I'd never traveled alone and I was 19. So I flew to San Diego like the very next day. I literally I only had like maybe like 7 grand saved and I was like 19. And then I used 5 of it to go to this guy's event because it was like the hotel and the flights and the price of the event. And then, long story short, the event was 3 days long. And on day 2, he was like, we'll hire you. Like, let's do it. And then he gave me like a 3-month like agreement contract type thing. And then on day 3 at the event, he was like, I actually want you to go on stage today and I want you to talk about what you think AI is going to do for your generation because everybody in the room has kids your age. And I was like, oh, stunning. Okay, cool. I got you. And then went on stage and talk about AI. And then I worked for him for about a year, which was sick. And he was based in the UK. So we did a lot of like cool events and stuff and like went to the UK and like that vibe.
Sick. And then you started your own company.
Yeah, and then so through the AI company, I met some people who also worked inside of that AI company that was based in the UK. And me and a married couple, actually.
Gretchen and Michael.
Gretchen and Michael! Yeah. Oh my God! Me and Gretchen and Michael decided to leave that AI company and like do our own thing. And we got into tech and we were like kind of figuring out exactly what we wanted to do in the tech space. And then at the same time, I was talking with my dad, because me and my dad have a really close like working and like father-daughter relationship. And my dad, after his whole like business career in like speaking events, he pivoted into just like owning companies. So he's like done a couple acquisitions and like buying companies and stuff. And he bought like I don't say this too often, but not because it's ever a secret, but because people always just misinterpret it. But my dad bought the Handyman franchising company. The company Local Handyman is owned by my dad and his partner, and they bought it together. And then when me, Michael, and Gretchen left our tech company and we were starting our own thing, as we were starting up and like starting to like look who we could work with and like whatever, my dad and his partner, we all kind of came together and they were like, look, we've seen you guys, like my dad's seen me work in tech for like a year and a bit, maybe a bit longer, and was like, hey, like, can you guys help us like rebuild the infrastructure of this handyman company we just bought? And we were like, yeah, of course. Like, we just quit. Like, of course we can. So me, Gretchen, and Michael build out all the systems, tech, backend, websites, ads, like all the automations, everything for every franchise across North America that this Local Handyman franchising company has. And then in the midst of doing that, we were like, we should buy some handyman franchises. Like, why not? And especially because we were rebuilding all the systems and tech inside the company. And we were like, it'd be so helpful if we were franchisees, because then we see what the franchisees see. And then we can like really build to like help them build. So if we were like seeing it from both sides. So then we bought 3 franchises in Vancouver, and I ran the franchises like with Michael and Gretchen kept running like the tech stuff, and I was running the handyman franchises. And then I ran those for like 8 months before a woman wanted to own Vancouver, and we were like, this is a great opportunity to be done. I think it was one of those things that was supposed to just be like it only like an 8-month sprint for me. But it was good. It was good. I still love the trades industry and definitely think I'll get back into it one day. But that's kind of like the full circle. And I think like the reason I don't really say like the whole like my dad and his partner part of the story really a lot is that like I think when you talk about like family in business together, people just like I know like I've had like a really privileged life with the access that he's been able to give me, but then I think it gets like misinterpreted that you like just didn't work for anything and everything is like given to you. Yeah. And like it's kind of that feeling of like, sure, like you can go to like if someone like I don't even know how to put it, like depending on who you are, like the way you show up in the world dictates your results. Like anyone else could have been put in like any position and done like I don't even know, like you could be put in this podcast studio right now and like they could give you free access to the studio every single day. And you could come in here and watch Netflix all day if you wanted to and never, ever, ever record a video. And that's totally fine. Or you can show up in this podcast studio and put like all of your effort into learning how to storytell and telling the most like insane stories about your life and posting them on YouTube every single day, nonstop. And like your actions will dictate your own results in your life. But the studio being given to you like doesn't make you successful. It's what you do in the studio. And like I think that's like how I feel like in my life. And then like I know that I have the huge privilege of being like, here's the studio, because like not a lot of people get that. And then I think it just instantly is like, oh, you got the studio, therefore you got everything. And it's like, no, I bought the trucks, I bought the vans, I hired the guys, it was our salary. My parents have never given me money to like start a company, except for the Crystal one, which they helped us with because we were like 16. But we pulled it out of our university funds. So like if it didn't work, that's my college, like, on the line, not their money, which is, like, you know, it is their money, but, like, that's my education, though. Anyway, that's a ramble, but yeah, that's the full scope of, like, that whole sitch.
Well, I want to dive a lot more into the handyman company. So it's not very often you see a 21-year-old girl running a handyman company, which is amazing, too. And I think that was like what first got me watching your content. I was like, that's so cool that you're doing this, which is so out of the ordinary.
It was honestly like out of the ordinary, but I found it like so intriguing. I just like don't know why, but I love the idea of like home services or like being in the home services space. I just think like construction and design and like putting something together like just like scratches my brain in such a great way. Like I love the feeling of like being tactile and being like, yep, this should go here, this should go here. Like going to any house or any site with my guys and like talking through it and all of this was like such a high for me. And I don't know how to explain it. Like it was so fun, stressful, but like fun. And I just love the space a lot. And I think that the space doesn't have a lot of care. And like that's kind of a broad statement to say that, but like there are people who obviously do care. But there's so many companies who like don't have like a lot of good like customer service or like yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm like definitely learning and have no like expertise or authority on it, but like the way that the guys get treated is like I've just seen a lot of like mistreatment in trades around like employee to boss scenarios, and like I really wanted to do everything I could to make sure that like my guys felt taken care of and they felt like they had someone who listened and cared, and like I wouldn't send you to anything that, like, I wouldn't go to. And there were times that I would go to a job with the guy because they needed help. And, like, I helped retile the kitchen floor of, like, a bar once with one of my guys for, like, 6 hours, 10 hours a day. Because I was like, I just want to help you. Like, well, he needed help. And things got a little messed up. But, like, it was, like, yeah. I once built a bed because I was like, my guy couldn't go. And it was, like, an IKEA bed. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I think I'm qualified to do this. Yeah. And then like, it was just like an IKEA bed, and then my dad actually went with me because I was like, Dad, like I can't do it alone, and he came with me. And then there was a time that someone's door got like stuck, and me and my dad had to go fix it again. I brought my dad because I always was like scared. Like I think I could do it, but like I also am no handyman. But my dad actually like is like, you know, like dads just have like dad knowledge. Like he just like knows how to like fix everything, but like doesn't, but like does. That like me and my dad went together to go like fix stuff together, which like wasn't a normal thing, but like it was the exact same scenario of like I would send my guys pics being like, hey, like just finishing up this blah blah blah, and then it was just I think this feeling of being like, oh, she would mop the floors if we asked her to. And I don't know what's right or wrong about any of that, but I think it was just like this ground level being like, we are a team, like we are so in this together. And I just think the trades industry could use that like that love, like it didn't have it. And I mean, it showed in, like, when I posted, like, one of my my best Instagram post, I think, like, probably to this date, was, like, a video of me, like, sitting in literally a chair like this, being like, this is how I built a 6-figure handyman company without knowing how to fix anything. Yeah, and, yeah, and it was, the pain of that video was definitely, like, this industry doesn't know how to treat its clients. And like specifically like it's like there is like the men or women are really great at like fixing the stuff in the homes, but it's everything before they get to your house that's like kind of hurting in this industry. And then people really felt that, and I think that's why the video like blew up the way it did, was that the pain point, like attachment the consumer like feels. They're like, yeah, like it's so hard to get a hold of my plumber or handyman or this, or they show up 3 hours late, or they can't communicate to me, or the estimate wasn't fair, or like they charged me more than I thought, or they ghosted me. Ghosting is like a huge thing in this industry. Everyone just gets ghosted all the time. Like there are people who will like, I don't know, there'll be people who like even like you have a handyman show up at your house, they do the quote, they leave, the customer's like, yeah, I want to go through with it, like let's do the service, and then like the handyman is like never gets back to them because they don't feel like doing it or something. And like it's just so interesting to like see that. But that's why I actually like that industry, because I think I understood like the infrastructure of like what it should be. I don't understand how to fix things, but I knew that like if you hire just great guys who just have great attitudes, who know how to fix stuff, then like that's kind of gold right there.
Yeah, I remember you said in that post, like, you don't need to know how to fix something. You just need to know how to run a handyman company really well.
How to hire the guys who know how to fix things really well. And that's exactly what we did. And like, even like, I was like, people would ask me questions about being like, how did you hire them, or how did you do this? And like, I always felt like I didn't have the authority to answer because I was learning. And if I ever get back into trades, I will still be learning. Like, I can only speak from my own personal experience of like how we hired, how we did this, how we got clients. But like, I was only doing it for 8 months. So, I mean, 8 months is a lot and a little all at the same time. And yeah, I can have a lot more knowledge than someone who's never done it. But also, like, I still think I'm like definitely fresh when it comes to that whole industry, even though I really like it.
So, for example, let's say on the customer service and the customer experience side of things, how did things go differently when using your company rather than a different handyman?
The things that we did was I would call all of our clients. Right. Like, I would phone them all. I'd be like, how, like, either before a job, after a job, like, if there was an estimate, like, I would call them, answer all their questions, like, really walk them through it. Like, I would learn, like, just the little stuff of, like, the little things of, like, when someone's like, oh, yeah, like, my daughter's coming this weekend and I want to repaint her room before she comes. And it's like, oh, where's she coming from? How old is she? Oh, my God, that's so sweet. Like, oh, she's getting engaged. That's so exciting. When's the wedding? Like, little stuff like that, if you're talking to them like that, just builds this, like, oh, you actually give a shit why I need this room painted. You don't just want the money. Like, that's refreshing. We also, like, we didn't get too into it. Like, I think I was just learning this, but I started doing, like, handwritten thank you cards and, like, mailing them to people. Yeah, to people, and being like, thank you so much, like, all of this stuff. Honestly, like, it doesn't take, like, a lot to be different. You just have to do the thing that is lacking really well. Yeah. Like, doing the customer service really well and spending, like, I spent a lot of my time doing customer service and, like, building those relationships. That's what made us stand out, because, like, there was no, there was no solo contractor guy, like, calling everybody back, asking how their day was, or, like, there was a point that one of my business partners, was going to help me, and she was going to just, like, call our best clients when they didn't have jobs booked and just ask them, like, hey, like, I just want to check in, like, your service was done, like, 3 months ago, but not be like, hey, do you need anything else? Just be like, so how you doing since? And literally just talk to people on the phone, because we had a really big, like, a lot of our customers were, like, women, who were, like, moms or widows or elderly, and I just think that, like, they just appreciated just, like, people actually caring. And, like, my partner calling anybody being like, yeah, like, I heard, like, I remember, like, your daughter was coming in town, like, how was that visit? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then genuinely, if people were like, oh, that's weird, like, why would, like, people on the phone would be like, oh, like, what? And then it'd be like, oh, no, like, we just, like, I just remember calling you, and I remember finding it really interesting, and I just wanted to know, like, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, I think that, just listening and, like, actually having a conversation with them, like, literally made all the difference.
No, I agree. And then with my business, for example, detailing, I find it so similar to the handyman work. And I think that was what really made me resonate with your content in the first place. Like, I realized we really have a similar view on how to run more of a trades or physical service business, because it's so true. Like, so many of these companies are lacking in, like, the customer service and the customer experience side of things. Like, with detailing, for example, every company probably can clean your car perfectly, but not a lot of them will show up on time, actually care about you, go above and beyond, make everything as seamless as possible, and really dial in the customer experience as well as the cleaning itself.
The biggest thing that we had was me saying that I wouldn't send a guy to your house that I wouldn't like send to my mom's house. And then people were like, and then that like always hits for women because the trades industry is like having like a random, like there's so many men in construction, and that's like having like a random guy come to your house can, like, if you're like a woman home alone or your kids are there or like elderly's there, like you could just be so, like, people just have bad experiences with like guys that just like aren't great. And just being able to be like, I'm a young girl and like I've vetted them and like I've approved them, just like went like one level stronger on like the trust.
Right. No, that makes total sense. And I think like women are half the customers. And then if you can if you can just appeal to women and then show that like women also trust your company, I think that goes such a long way. And that was actually the advice I was giving to my friend who runs a mechanic company. Because mechanics have such a reputation for scamming girls. Like I've spoken to so many of my friends who are girls. They've been like, "Oh yeah, this mechanic tried to scam me," or they quoted me this price that was like double whatever. And then I was simply just telling him like, make it like I'm like, you're a good guy. Make it clear that you don't scam people. Make it all your branding pretty.
They'll come to you. That's like so valid. So valid. Agreed. Agreed. It's good to see things like that though, and then like just like go after it. Like when we like were doing our stuff for the handyman company, it wasn't like how do we like remarket handyman. It was just like I just don't think a handyman company really like I haven't seen a handyman company like do social media the same way that I did. Like I literally hadn't seen it. And like I've seen guys like post like it's the guy working on the thing or like fixing the thing. But I hadn't seen somebody like story tell about like why they were doing it or an experience they had or like sharing like trying to document on like that like micro level where it's like, oh, like this week we made no money. Like it's just like like I don't know, like I wanted, that was like what I also think made it different. Honestly, my social media brought us no business for the handyman company. It was just for fun. Like genuinely just like for my own fun of why not.
Well, I think something else that you did really well there was building the brand, and not many other handyman companies have that.
No, my guys, one thing that I forgot to ask them when we were hiring is if they were okay being on camera, which they both weren't. Later, I found out. Because I was like, hey guys, like I would love to film this with you. And they were like, yeah, we don't want to be filmed. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I tried to convince them, and then they were like, we don't want to. And I was like, okay, valid. Sorry guys. Because I would have loved to put like GoPros on them as they like went to work, or like the like meta glasses and stuff while they went to work, and like got some footage of them like working, or like time lapsed. Like people love watching people build things like through time lapse and like that kind of stuff, and I would have loved that, but it worked out the way it was supposed to, so it's fine.
Do you think that was part of the reason why you're successful? Because I also feel like even though that might not be sustainable long term, everybody's kind of got to go through that phase of just working super hard, like working 12 hours a day, and then kind of realizing for themselves that, okay, maybe that's not the best way to go.
Yeah, dude, honestly, like if I have never said the name of our handyman company once in any video ever over all time. Like it's inferred because the logo is like in my videos and stuff. Genuinely because I didn't want to ever look like I was selling. Like I never wanted to look like I was selling online. At least with the handyman company. Like my goal wasn't to like make any money through Instagram. It was just like to be like, I just think it's fun to like document. Even I look back on those videos and I'm like genuinely like, damn, like okay, handyman. Like I almost forget that was, I don't know how to explain it. I almost forget that was me in some capacity. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I look back on the videos and I'm like, damn, like it's because I think that I was just working these crazy long days, and then one day I didn't own it anymore, and then it was just like, okay, on to the next. And then you just like feel like you're always running, that you kind of like forget to like stop and like enjoy the thing that you're doing. And that's how I kind of felt like when I did it for 8 months. Like I was like literally like I would wake up at like 4 a.m. every day, go to bed at like, I don't know, 11 p.m. every day. It was a lot. Like it was definitely, if I was going to do that now, I would definitely do it differently. I just thought that I needed to do everything all the time and be like the person who like made everything happen. And granted, we were in a franchise, so like there were like rules about like how you play the game, but I would definitely do it do it differently if I was going to do trades again. It's interesting because I don't like the handyman company to me was just like a lot of learning. Right. Like I think people think about like, or they'll see like Instagram, or they'll see like, I don't even know, like whatever metric or something, and be like, oh my God, you guys must have made so much money. You guys must have had so much success. And it's like, I think that like there definitely is success, but I genuinely look at the handyman company being like, damn, that was a lot of good learning. Like, that was really interesting. And, like, I agree that you need to, like, work hard and understand that, but I also think that, like, working smart doesn't mean that you're, like, working hard. And, like, I think that at the time with the handyman company, like, we couldn't afford for me to not be working like that. Like, it just made sense for the time being. But I also know that that wouldn't have been sustainable for, like, I did it for, like, I don't know, 8-ish months, 7-ish months. And it's, like, when you're just like not sleeping like that, like I like literally there's no world that I want that to sound like I'm preaching don't sleep, because sleeping is so important for you, and like you work so much better. And like I think that there's so much like online negative toxicity about like being like you should work every single hour of your day that you possibly can, and like you shouldn't sleep. And like granted, like like I used to get up really early because I just like had to, and that was like my normal, but like doesn't mean that you like shouldn't sleep. Dude, there was like, yeah, as someone who has like a notoriously bad sleep schedule, like I preach getting good sleep, because I just think that you actually operate like so much better. And I think there's way too many people online who are like, you need to grind to like do this and you need to suffer. And I think like everyone's truth is going to be different, and like you can't tell someone they need to suffer to be able to do the thing. But I also, that's just my own opinion.
What do you think's your work style? Like, do you think you're the type of person that needs to suffer?
I know that if I have something in my head that I want to make real, like a goal or an outcome, I also know that I need to give it as much as I can give it to make it happen. Like, I think that I look at the handyman company, and if I put in like 5 hours a day every single day, and that's all I did, like it would have never gotten to like 6 figures in like under 5 months, or 5 months, like on 5 months. Like it just wouldn't have like done that. So I think it's like everyone's thing might look different. Like I just think that like it's so circumstantial, but my work style is definitely like whatever it needs. Like whatever it needs, I'll do it. But also like I want to make sure that I'm like smart about it. Like I don't want to, like, yeah, like it's like it'd be different if I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the handyman company, and then every like small little job that I think I can do, like I'm gonna take up and do. It's like no, like that's not the most like high leverage thing you can do with your time. You need to learn how to like do this, or like, for example, like me, if I was gonna do it now, like me filming Facebook ads is like, if I spend like an entire day doing that, it's like, okay, that's cool, but also like imagine just going to like, I don't even know, like imagine going to like a university and like paying a bunch of kids like $50 to like help you film some ads, and like you get like, I don't know, a videography class to like help you, and you work with the teacher and you make it a contest and you make it fun and you get like 10 ads out of it and everybody gets paid $100. That's a good idea. But you know what I mean? Like there's so many ways that you can actually like triple out the amount of output that you can do if you just think a little smarter. Sure. Versus thinking that you need to work a little harder. And like it's so much easier to just take a step back now and look at it and be like, oh, I should have done that. But I think when you're in it, you just think you're so deep in it that like you taking a step back like just doesn't exist. And like when I worked in the handyman company, when I describe it as that, like I worked in it. Like I feel like I was working in it every single day, and that I didn't have the ability to step back because it just needed my attention so much. And I definitely, yeah, it'd be so interesting to try to do it now and like know what I know, and like, yeah, it's so interesting.
I also think a lot of people, they tie their self-esteem to how much they work. It's like, oh, I didn't work 10 hours today, so I'm not good enough. And that was totally me for a while, and probably still me.
Definitely me. I definitely tied a lot of my significance to like how much I was working or how busy I was, or yeah, like it's so interesting now to like, I definitely still do. I definitely like, I think I'm learning like about what it's like to be perceived, because I think that I had like social media definitely makes you, the thing about social media that I didn't actually foresee being a reality was how much you evaluate yourself. like, I don't know about you, but like personally, like I think about the way I'm being perceived all the time. And
Yeah.
it's a little bit less, like, I'm not trying to think like, what does everybody care about me? Why do they care? Blah, blah, blah. But it's more like, what do I want them to think? And that's a really interesting conversation to have with yourself, because it's not like you're being disingenuous. Like, you are being you. But like, if you want people to like think you're successful, or you want people to think this, like for me, it's like, why do I want people to think that? Like, why do I feel the need to like come across this way or do this thing? Or like, I'll look back on old videos and be like, you definitely look like you're looking for significance over like just being a real person. And I think it was like understanding that it's like okay to show that you like don't have it all together, and that you aren't an authority, and that you aren't doing this. And I think when I first started, I think anybody wants to be like looked at and be like, wow, they're doing amazing. But then I think now I've really like turned this big corner into being like, I just want to be a lot more like, fuck it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but like, it's fine. Like, I think with the handyman stuff, like I really was trying to, like, I felt confident in what I was doing in the moment, but like behind the scenes there was so much of like uncertainty and like learning, and like there were so many jobs that went wrong, and like learning lessons to like get through them, and like so much money loss and gain and loss and gain and whatever, that like if I were to do it now, like I feel like I'd want to be a lot more like, I sit down for my camera and I'm like, dude, this job just went so bad. Let me tell you about it. And then go into a story about like this time we accidentally built stairs on the wrong house. Like literally,
You have any funny stories like that?
dude, that literally happened.
Wait, really?
Like oh bro, like it like haunts me to this day. Like there was, long story short, we got hired to redo, like when somebody has like a patio on their second floor, or like a deck on their second floor, and then there's stairs from like the backyard to like the second floor, and there's stairs going up, and it's outdoor stairs.
Right, yeah.
We got hired to redo those stairs, and then we had just torn down the stairs, and now we were putting up the next ones, and it like, took like 3 days or whatever it took. And someone walked onto the property and starts yelling at my guy. And he was like, "What are you doing? Like, where are my stairs?" But what? And we were like, "What do you mean?" Turns out that there was like someone living in the house that wasn't supposed to be living there. And then the homeowner like came home, and the guy who like didn't own the house hired us. And we didn't know he didn't own the house, because you just like, we just didn't know.
Of course. Yeah.
And then the guy was like, "No, like I didn't want new stairs. Like I'm not paying for these, like blah, blah, blah." And then no one ended up paying for them, and we like had to pay another company to finish them for them, because he was so mad at us, because he was like, "Why didn't you check that, like about the guy being the homeowner?" And then we were like, I just didn't consider it in the moment, and like I'm the one working with the clients. My guys just show up where I like tell them to go.
But I feel like that's not really a question.
Dude, it was one of those like, I'm like learning lessons where you're like, I didn't even realize that this was going to be a problem. Like, it was just one of those like so specifically weird scenarios where you're like, I didn't assume that to verify that you actually like, let me see the deed to this home. Like it was weird, but we ended up like, we lost like, I don't know, like $6,000 on that. Like, I wish I shared like a lot of those, because I think that like those are really good learning moments. And I don't honestly know why I didn't share them, because I wasn't being aware that I wasn't sharing them. But if I look back now, I would definitely love to like look more like someone who's learning over someone who's like, I figured this out. This is how I built this company. Like, everything about what I said is like still true, but there was a lot of learning that just didn't get shown. And then I just wish that like that got shown, because like I think that that's probably more valuable than me being like, this is how much we made in a week. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, what did you learn about what you learned?
What do you think were the biggest things you learned?
I learned a lot about hiring and like how to be a boss. I don't think I'd ever experienced being a boss like that before. I'd only been a boss for like virtual teams, which was like just very different. And now you're working with like, both my guys were like 30, like early 30, late 30s, which is like a really different crowd. And like they're also both guys in trades, like so learning how to like treat them well, and like actually understanding like what it takes to be a boss. And like I think I got lucky. They were super sweet, amazing guys who I felt respected, which was like, I knew that was going to have to be earned, because like they've been in trades like literally longer than I've been here on this planet. So like I would actually expect like some people to be like, I'm never working for someone like you, which like valid. I can imagine that. Like it makes sense, low key. But definitely I think like just understanding how to treat people inside of that was like the biggest learning. And I also think like trusting your own gut too. Really? A lot. Like I think there was like so many scenarios where like it moves so quick that you have to make decisions like instantly all the time. So that's what I felt.
What do you think was an instance like that where you had to trust your gut?
If like a job like went wrong or something, then it was like, how do you instantly fix this? Like, and then it would be like, like just so many like split second decisions that you just have to be like confident in the decision you made because now you've made it. Like, I don't even like, it's like random stuff of like, if there was like a scenario where like one of the guys like messed up, so I sent the other guy to go fix it. Yeah. Because they had different like skill sets, then it would be like understanding how to like dude, like how to like articulate that to like the team and being like, cool, look, like I gotta go fix this. Or like I'd be like sitting in like my city, which is an hour from the franchise I lived in, and like something would go wrong, and in like seconds I'd be in my car driving there, going to Rona, picking up supplies, going to the thing, blah blah blah, and just like always like you were like literally always on call all the time. And then like it's just like, yeah, like it's like your whole day could be going great, and then one guy drops a window and you're like, oh my god. And then you have to run out and go buy a window, and you're like, why am I doing, like, I remember one of my guys, it wasn't a window, but it was like a panel of glass that he dropped, and he was like, oh my god, like, and he was like, I'll pay for it, like, I feel really bad, and I was like, it's not on you, and then, like, you know, you just, like, random, like, you can think that you're, like, profitable, and then someone does something like that, and then you're like, oh, okay, no blame to them, but, like, it was just, like, just shit happens.
I know you mentioned you'd want to get back into trades in the future, or that would be something like you'd be interested in. How do you think that would go? Like what kind of trades business would you want to do?
I have no idea. I do know that it would be like acquiring a trades company. Like I would not start from scratch, and I wouldn't buy a franchise again. Like I would definitely look at like acquiring a trades company. I would just honestly love the situation of like someone wanting to retire from their trades company, whether it's like HVAC or plumbing or electrical or even handyman or painting or concrete or power washing, whatever the landscaping, whatever the scenario is. And they're looking to retire and their kids don't want it, but they've put their life into it and they've like, it's their baby and it's their this, and they don't want to sell it to like private equity, or they don't want like a venture capital, whatever coming in. Like, I would love the scenario that somebody is just like, look, I've put so much like attention and love and time into this thing, and I want someone to do the same thing. And then I would love to like buy it off of a person like that over like that to me is like the most like real person to person way that like you can do business like this. And also like in this industry, like I don't like, you know, like I just would want to like take care of the things that the people have built and like respect that like someone was here before me. Like that's all I would want is like acquiring a company like that. If anybody knows anyone who wants to retire, let me know. Like I feel like I'm like not actively looking, but I think if like there was a deal that just like came out, or like I just found myself in the right room in the right scenario, I don't think I'd actually have any hesitation to do it like right now. Like I think I really love it a lot, trades.
Okay, so for the people here who aren't quite familiar, why would you buy a business instead of start one?
I think people can have their own like judgment about this. Yeah. My personal perspective is that if there are 8,000 businesses that close a day in the US. A day. Holy. From the statistics I read a couple months ago, so that could change, but you know. And whether that's like, there's like, I can't remember them exactly, but there were like 5 words that start with the letter D that like are the reason things close. And it's like, so either someone dies, or it's divorce, or it's disease, or it's death, or it's something else. Let's call it retirement. Fuck it. And they like, there's so many companies that just close down. Like, they don't understand that the value of their thing. They just don't want to deal with selling it. So many companies don't sell in the US. Like, they get put up for sale and never sell. And I just think that, like, someone's put so much work into building this thing, and you could actually buy a company, like, with, like, not a lot of money. Like, you can seller finance companies, which is basically where, like, the money the company's making, like, a percent goes back to the owner, and the company almost, like, repays the owner for their company. It does take a lot more time, and there can be, like, higher, like, you might pay more for a company than you'd expect, but it's because, like, their company's paying them out, essentially. Yeah. But the reason that I would personally do it is, like, that exact thing of, like, someone's put in the work and built this. And, like, I would love to go into a company that, like, has finances, has things. I love, like, it's the same way that, like, I would love, like, cleaning and, like, organization. It's, like, the exact same stuff. Like, I like the idea of, like, going into a company and, like, understanding how it works, understanding how it flows, and, like, meeting the people, meeting the team, and getting to, like, continue something versus, like, completely starting from fresh. I mean, to be fair, someone's done the heavy lifting for you, and now you get to, like, continue pursuing their thing versus just, like, you know, starting your own from scratch, and then theirs shuts down, and then you're just like, if they're up here and you're down here, and then they decide to, like, shut down their company and you want to start, you literally are just going to pass like this. And then it's like, what's the point of, like, passing like this when, like, they're here and you could meet them here and be like, great, you stay here, I'm going to keep going. Like, it just makes sense to me in my head. I mean, it's a lot easier said than done, and I haven't done, like, a formal acquisition other than buying franchises, which really isn't an acquisition at all. You don't buy an active company. So that's what I would love to do one day. I think that at this age of 22, I think it's so easy to be like, yeah, you know, like, one day this, one day that, we'll figure it out.
But you could, for sure.
I think you could. Like, definitely think. I really don't know what that timeline looks like, or, like, what the trajectory of, like, my big future looks like, but I just know that, like, I just like the game. I just think it's fun. And I just really like trades for some reason. Couldn't tell you why.
Well, also, I think starting is always the hardest part. And then if you buy the company, it's like, you know that it works, you know that it makes money, so it's a lot less risk.
I think there's definitely a lot of risk, though, in, like, the turnover, because, like, it's so, like, you could have a founder who, like, buys the company and they run it into the ground because they don't understand, or, like, they ruin the relationships, or, you know, they go in and try and change everything on day one because they're like, I have this new company that I'm just gonna, like, you know, audit and, like, wipe everything away and start from scratch and whatever. And then, like, that also takes a company to go down. Like, buying a company doesn't guarantee that it's gonna, like, succeed or anything. That is the number one question I got, was, like, how do I start my own handyman trades company? And I literally was like, dude, I don't even really know how to, like, tell you. Like, everyone's journey is gonna look different, but all I can remember is being like, okay, so I need, like, men and vans and insurance, and I need to get them wrapped, and I need, like, flyers and business cards and marketing materials. Okay, cool. Where do I get work? Okay, I'm just gonna start, like, calling every strata council that, like, runs buildings, or calling every property manager, and then starting to just, like, meet people in the city. Or I would, like, DM realtors on LinkedIn and be like, do you want to go get coffee? And, like, just literally just did as much as I could to, like, get as integrated. And it's like, it's starting is definitely, like, the hardest part, because it's the most, like, blind you feel. Like, you're, like, literally in a dark room and you're like, I don't know where the door is. Like, that's literally how it feels. And I think that all you can do is, like, just choose an action and complete it, and then choose another action and complete it. And, like, honestly, we live in a world of AI now. ChatGPT that. How do you start a handyman company? Oh, okay. Give me a breakdown. Okay, cool. Give me a checklist to do over 6 weeks to go from this to this to this to this. I want this outcome in 6 months. What are the steps to get there? I don't know. Like, chat that baddie now. YouTube video. Like, yeah. That's how I feel. ChatGPT.
Exactly.
ChatGPT it.
Claude
it. I feel like Claude doesn't, like, naturally roll off the tongue the same. Like, when I'm like, just ask chat, like, I'm just ask Claude, like, I need like a Claude nickname to call Claude.
We're just not used to it yet. Like, I remember before, like, the word ChatGPT, it felt so weird to say. But then it was like, we got used to it. Hey, now it's Claude. Like, no way I'm going back to chat.
Yeah, no, valid. I canceled my subscription to chat.
Okay, I didn't yet, because I'm always running out of Claude credits. I was having this conversation yesterday, like 3 months ago. I did not imagine that now I'd be, like, addicted to using Claude code.
Just coding on Claude. I think like it's so interesting to me because like now anybody can just like build anything, like an app or whatever, a website. Like so many people, like there's gonna be like just such an influx of like, oh, like I built this website for you, please look at it, blah blah blah. And I mean, to be fair, there's a big market out there. I mean, there are just so many companies that have like really awful websites or like low maintenance websites that just could use that like cleanup and look really nice and awesome.
There's so many old people, especially, who are just scared of AI.
I think like, but that's valid. I even think it's like beyond age. Like I think anybody is like fearful of AI. You could have like someone who's in like high school right now who's like, I have no idea what to take for university because I'm scared that there's going to be like this tech wave that's going to wipe out whatever career I want. Or everyone in the world is telling me to be fearful, but no one's actually giving me a solution of like what I should put my energy into with that, which is scary by itself. And then also just the overall fear of like what to do with your life. So I think it's a longer answer, but I think that like AI definitely like has like freaky factors, but there's like I also we feel extremely out of control about it. Like it can scare me, but I also like what am I gonna do?
Exactly. It's like, what do you do? It's like, just make the most out of it.
Just make the most out of it and learn about it. You don't need to be like some pro who knows like everything, but just like feel at like a 50% confidence level, and I feel like it's like you're cool.
But I mean, I see like a lot of older people, or even people who are like 30 or 40, who they're like scared of using AI, or they feel uncomfortable using it. They're trying to avoid AI at all costs. And I think that's where the opportunity is. It's like, find an older business owner who just doesn't want to use AI for some reason, and then make them a website.
Yeah, I mean, that's super valid. And I honestly think that there are people who are like years above us who are at stages of like their businesses where like I can also imagine that you've been doing it a long time, that like learning this entirely new thing that feels really giant isn't necessarily even scary. It's just like, damn, dude, like so much to learn when now these like little whippersnapper kids are like just throwing AI together that I would rather hire someone to do AI for me because they can probably do it better. Like, yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the unnamed coffee project.
I think that is like a passion project, and I don't know what the exact like trajectory of it looks like. I think the more people I talk to, and not necessarily just taking their opinion and then running with it, but like I like to learn from others and like listen before like I think there's a healthy amount of like listening you can do before you just start like running with something. And the beverage industry is crazy. Like it's like literally like just the same amount of crazy as like someone saying they want to start a restaurant, and everyone's like, okay, like the failure rate's crazy, you know? A lot of people I've talked to have been like, it's going to be so hard. Like it's unbelievably hard to start a restaurant or to start a beverage company. And like there's a healthy amount of me that like wants to listen to that, and then there's like that like inner like 22-year-old who's like, I'm going to do it anyway, and like wants to like, you know, feel the needs to like prove themselves and like build this thing. To me, like I just see like the canned coffee industry just lacks so much like personality and brand. And like if you look at like energy drinks and the way that they emotionally attach to people and how much people like feel like the drink they choose just says a lot about them as a person, or like their choices or their lifestyle or their mindset or whatever it might be. I think that the coffee is just like missing the mark on brand. I do think it's oversaturated, obviously, as like a drink category, but I think it's undersaturated on like people in that industry who like kill it in brand, like specifically only talking about canned coffee, like physical cans of coffee. I think cafes have like cute branding and they go viral and they do amazing. There's like bags of like powdered coffee that like do their own thing, like totally different lanes, and like canned coffee just like doesn't have like this like brand that's like just not predictable. Like a lot of coffee companies are just really predictable about like their naming, and all their colors are the same colors as all the other canned coffee companies. And I think like if you marketed a canned coffee like an energy drink, that's just like super sick to me. That's kind of like the basic overview vibe of like what I want to go for. A lot of learning. Never being in beverage in my life is definitely just like I've spent like literally the last month and a half like just learning and asking as many people who are in like beverage or food like about the industry. I want to understand. I don't want to go in like being so naive thinking that I can just kill it when like I haven't actually like sat down and like done the research or looked into it. And I don't want to get like stagnant on like just sitting there researching over and over, but I think it's like valuable to like at least understand or like listen first. And it's definitely going to be like a project. Like it is kind of, yeah, just like it is a lot to do. And I'm just in the initial phases of now being like, cool, like we're gonna go formulate and we're gonna go start like building out the actual like what the can looks like and all these different design elements. And then like, yeah, there's a lot to do, but we're like getting through it. Same thing as like we were talking about when you're starting. It's like, where do you even start? It's like, couldn't tell you. Other than the fact that like you got to go. There are just certain things you got to check off your checklist, and I'm just making my way through my own checklist at this point.
Well, also, what I really like about the company and what you've got so far is marketing it more as a productivity energy drink and marketing it more towards like the health crowd, branding it as as like some kind of healthy coffee for the people who are ambitious, want to focus, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. There's like so much. I just think that like this industry could just like if a brand killed it on like the marketing, branding, positioning, it would just kill. And like I like maybe it's like a naive assumption, but I just think that there is a gap and it could be filled. And that's like exactly like what I want to go after with a product like this, or what I can see a product like this fitting into that gap.
Well, I can't think of any coffee for ambitious people.
People who are just like unbelievably like they have this thing in their head that they want to make real, whether that's like an ambition or like a business or like startup or an AI tech whatever thing. Or is it like the interns who have like crazy hours, crazy work lives, but they dream of this like career in this thing? Or is it like the creatives and the artists who have like this image of something they want to get out of their head, this album they want to create, this artist piece, sculpture thing they want to create, whatever it is, that like making a drink that like caters towards those people that like speaks more than like their action. It's like the same way that like when you look at like Red Bull, like it speaks more than like what the can actually is. Like I could tell you Red Bull and everybody knows like Red Bull is like extreme sports. You can picture all the stunts. You can picture the logo strapped to a dirt bike going off a cliff. Like you can picture all of it. And I think that like a canned coffee brand hasn't marketed the same way, not like in the extreme sports level, but like there are just so many ways that you can like storytell to actually build emotional attachment to like a beverage, for example.
I forget where I heard this, but apparently Red Bull, they taste like shit on purpose. Like they try not to taste good, so then it feels more healthy. Did you hear that?
That's super interesting. Really interesting. I was actually talking to a friend about that, or not that specifically, but about the idea of like just coffee and branding, and we've gone down like a deeper conversation of like what exactly like I want to go after. And one of the things that we were talking about was he was like, it'd be so interesting to just like be known as mid. Like it'd be so interesting to be like, yeah, the coffee's kind of like okay, but the brand is like it'd just be like Starbucks. Like it would just be like so funny to just be like known as like you just didn't really try that hard with like the stuff inside. And it's just like something about that whole conversation was so funny because like shit like that like does work. Or I think like our generation is so creative. Like like the literal scrolling reels is like just insane. The way people can get other people's attention is like just beyond creative. And I like love that so much. And I just think that like it's really interesting when you start thinking about like a coffee company like this. Like a handyman company, you can be creative, but we were a franchise, so it was a bit harder to like go down your own little lanes. But like with this and it being like 100% mine is the feeling of being like, oh my God, this is going to be such a fun, like creative journey. Like the fact that you get to like, just like be super creative is like something that I like really look forward to. Cause like my biggest, like, I love the idea of just being curious all the time. And I think that's like a really fun thing to now get to do with this.
And I think that's also something you've done really well with your content. And that was also something else I want to discuss because personally to me, it always just seemed like you were a natural at content or you just figured out marketing and positioning.
I don't know. Like I just started, like my first videos like do kind of suck. Like I don't know if you've ever seen them. My very first video was like me standing in my room, and I have like this like filter on, because at the time I thought that I would be like the person who has like this filter. I don't know. I thought it was like my thing. And it was like me standing in my bedroom, and I'm holding a little mic, and I'm like, I think I was like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think it might be something like I'm Jade and I want to be like a millionaire by 25. I don't know. No, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what that's going to look like, but just know that I like want this, and like I'm going to document whatever I do to get there. And like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what to say. I don't know why I'm even like holding this little mic in my hand or whatever, but like just am making this video because every video after this is going to be towards like this goal. And like, I don't know if I necessarily have that exact like feeling about that goal anymore, but those videos suck. Like if you look at them, they like pretty much suck. But I don't think I have any fear but a camera. Like that's what I at least felt like I had going into it, was I felt confident talking to a camera. Now I'm a lot more natural talking to a camera, but I felt confident talking to one back then. But I've only been doing content for like maybe a year now. But like I definitely went on like a 4-month hiatus after the handyman company sold, because I was like, identity crisis. What do I do? Well, I thought that like nobody would want to watch me if I didn't own something. Like I genuinely was like, my identity is being this business owner, and like now I like own a tech company that like kind of runs without me, and I'm in this like middle ground of like figuring it out. And then like, how can you make videos about figuring it out when like, I don't know, I didn't want to become this person who just like starts to like make content about figuring it out, because I don't think at the time I was like way too in my head about like figuring out my life to like make content about figuring out my life, that I like almost didn't want to accidentally start making myself like come across like this like sappy person online who's like, I don't know what to do with my life. Like more so like I think I definitely made videos like that because I think they're important to share, like the real time like I'm figuring it out, like I'm having an identity crisis, whatever. And I did make videos like that, but I didn't want to like keep harping on it, because I didn't want it to be like, I think I'm just solutions oriented, where I'm like, dude, if you need to figure out your shit, like how do I figure it out? Not like, why do I feel the need to like figure it? Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it properly, but like I wanted to share that like I was like going through this like figuring it out middle weird stage, but I didn't want my identity to like slowly become someone who's stuck in a middle stage. So I was like trying to be careful, and then I honestly was like, I don't know what to post. And then I started like low-key shit posting like just random stories about random stuff, because I was like, why not just like explore a little and like try some different kinds of posts, and like I don't even know. But now I'm like feel like I'm getting back on track. I'm also learning that like my identity online definitely isn't just like business. I posted a video of me cooking dinner the other night, so like exploring, why not? Who says you have to be anything? The literal, like, it's so weird, because then you start to realize that you've created these rules of who you have to be online, like, and they're all set by yourself, and like, right. You know, and I bet people probably loved, like, I don't really know this, but like, I'm like a video of me like cooking dinner, and is like, just, I can imagine like if I watched someone like for the same, like making videos, making a certain type of content, and then they posted something that was like so out of their field, like just a whole nother spectrum of their personality. It honestly would probably be kind of cool to see it, to be like, oh, like they also cook.
It makes them seem more human.
Yeah, and then I feel like that's actually how you build like connection, because if I'm just talking about work all the time, then I feel like you never get to know me, you just get to know the things that I do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm cooking dinner for a boy, and then people are like, what? Okay, like I'm still like a 22-year-old girl who like goes out with her friends, and like I posted a story the other night of like me and my friends in a party bus, and like I can imagine people probably think I have the belief that like you shouldn't go out and go drink, and like that's your competition, and like, you know what I mean, like that whole shit. Dude, go out, you're 20, go out, who cares, it's not that deep, like just go out, have fun, go out with your girls, go out with your guys, like do your whole thing, party, drink. I don't like, do what works for you. If it isn't drinking, then go touch grass and go for a picnic. I don't know. Like, I love, like, getting out. I love, like, I've definitely had to learn how to, like, not be a workaholic. I take my Saturdays off now, except for today's Saturday, but it's chill. I take all my Saturdays off, and, like, I try not to work. I try and do something else, or, like, see friends. And, like, I think that, like, nothing will be more valuable than like the people you have around you and the experiences you get to experience with them. And like, I love my computer and I love to work, but also if I have nobody around me, then that just sucks.
It's like, what's it all for?
What's it all for? And you're 22. Like, okay, like I could, like, we just have so much time, and I think everyone thinks they don't have time, and we literally have so much time. Like, everyone's gonna have a different opinion about that, but mine is that like I just used to be like, oh my god, my time's running out, like what the heck, blah blah blah. But if I live feeling that, then time feels like it actually moves faster. Like I think I actually like wish away time because I'm like, like I need to get this stuff done and blah blah blah. And like I can get in moods like that where I'm just like like everything's coming at once and it does feel fast and quick, but I also just like I don't know, like I think I put so much pressure on myself that like is only self-inflicted and no one's actually saying this stuff to me other than like me telling myself this. Like I built my own wall, like my own voices in my head that like tell me like you're running out of time and you're doing this and blah blah blah. And then it's like, and then everyone on Instagram is like telling you the same thing and you're like, damn. And it's like, dude, I'm just gonna make my own rules. Like it's fine. It's gonna be fine. Everyone has their own lane to play in. It's fine.
What do you think some of those new rules are? Or what kinds of voices do you think you should be replacing those voices with?
I think it's like understanding like really deeply why you want a lot of things in your life. Like if I think about, I don't know, a business, it's like, why do I want to own a business? Okay, well, I want to like, I want to be successful. I want to help people. I want to make money. I want the freedom of it. Why do you want freedom? Why do you want to make money? Why do you want to make money? It's like people, like, it's so interesting because to me, I want to make money for the financial freedom, blah, blah, blah. But I really want to be able to, like, treat other people great. Like, I would love to have money to be able to, like, I don't even know, like, just be able to, like, give experiences or opportunity to, like, other people around me. Like, I want other people to like feel like they won with me, or I want the ability to be able to like tip a server like $1,000. Like I want the feeling of being able to do that because I want to be able to like help other people through the work that I did. Like a big reason why I want to own a like successful company is because the people who get to work in a successful company, like I want to be able to create jobs in a world that everyone feels like jobs are slipping away, or to be able to create like opportunity that people can actually like love the work that they do and get paid well to do it. And like one of my favorite things about just like the whole business thing is genuinely the idea of building a company for the sake of the people who get to work in it. Like I get to win, but like I'm not winning if they're not winning. And one of my favorite examples of this is the woman who owns Poppy, Allison Elson. Or sold Poppy. When Poppy sold to PepsiCo for 1.9 or like $2 billion, she made 44 millionaires during that sale. All internal Poppy staff, because so much of the Poppy staff had equity in Poppy because she was like, you all need to be taken care of when we sell. And she made 44 millionaires in one day. And that's insane to me. Like that to me is like you took care of your people. And like the idea of getting to do that for my people, my hypothetical future people, is like a big reason why like I want to work and like own a company. Yeah. Yeah. But I just think it's understanding like why people actually want it's so if you like talk to your friends or anybody who like, is like ambitiously trying to make like so much money, and you ask them why they want to make money or what they'll spend money on, and you keep driving to deeper truths, it's so interesting how a lot of them, like, I've had this where, like, I'll be talking with friends or, like, in a conversation, and then you kind of get down to the root that some people actually don't know why they want money other than freedom. Freedom, great. Freedom to do what? To keep building? To keep doing what you're doing now? Why do you want freedom? To like genuinely, like there are so many layers of truth that I think like people don't ask themselves, and like I don't have all the answers about like why I want it, but I can like kind of see like a clearer vision of like why I do want it. But it's just so interesting of like I don't know, like it's like, I guess it's like the same kind of questions of like if you gave someone $1 million and you asked them what they would do with it, but I don't know.
How do you think your motivations have changed over the years? Because I know For me personally, I really started off just wanting to prove people wrong. And that was like my main motivation, just like prove people wrong and also like prove to myself that I can do something, I can like be successful at something. But then I found that motivation kind of changed just to working with cool people, like just having fun day to day, enjoying the people I'm working with. And then I finally discovered like, oh, I just love business. I love building. So I started to just be more motivated by enjoying business and enjoying the process. But that really did change a lot over time, and it's probably gonna change a lot in the future. So how do you think that's changed for you?
My motivations just come from like definitely in the beginning was a lot more like proving to like myself and like parents or family that like I could do it or wanted to do it or like anything like that, or like when you grow up with like years of people around you telling you should become a business owner when you're older, you're like, okay, like I can do it, I did it, like here it is. And then your motivation starts to become like, I want to like take care of my people and I want to make sure my people are taken care of. And especially when you have business partners you love, like I want to like make sure that I can give back to my family when I can, like those kind of things. And then like I think motivation shifts to being like, what do I want my life to be? How do I want to take care of myself? Like I think motivation comes from so many different places, and like people can have people can be motivated through like passion of being like they want their product to like help the world or create this impact or like this legacy or whatever it might be. And I honestly don't think I actually have a good answer of like what my motivation like really is right now. Like I think that it fluctuates, other than the fact that like I know that I just want to do something that makes positive impact in this world, and I genuinely like it's so hard to make impact without money, and like I would just love to like make money for the pure sake of like somehow creating positive impact in the world, and I don't know what that looks like. So I don't know. And money's great. We love money. It's amazing. It loves us. And I, yeah, there's like obviously like the freedom, the lifestyle, the whatever that comes with it. But I also like, yeah, I think there's a healthy balance of like just, I think there's multiple factors, but I genuinely just think the, actually one of the biggest motivators I can see is I like picture like a future version of myself that I want to be. And then like, I like just want to become that version of myself. Like it's like you have every capacity and every capability to be able to become that version of yourself. It's just the you now that makes like your you now will dictate through your actions whether like you actually will become that version of yourself or not.
Who is that version of yourself?
Oh my god, dude, I don't know. Well, actually I do know. I do know. Like to me, it's someone where they don't need crazy amounts of money, but they don't feel like they're limited by any means. Could buy any car they wanted. Doesn't need to be excessive though. Could live in any city they wanted. Feels like they can take care of like family and friends if they wanted to or needed to, or just wanted to treat the people they love special. Doesn't have stress about like money or worrying about whatever. Is intentional and like good with their time and like really likes to be like really present and real. Built something that creates positive impact in this world, whether that's like getting to give people good jobs or getting that like, whatever ripple effect that might look like. And I just think like that version of me just like is just having so much fun with like what they're building. I think like these young ages makes us feel like it's like really intense and like you have to figure it out now to set yourself up later. And I think that version of me is like, cool, we've been set. Now it's like, how do we just like go reach a hand back and help other people? How do we have more fun? How do we go find young people who are doing exactly what we were doing 10 years ago and like help them, because that's what I would have loved when I was that age, or like whatever the scenario might be. But it's just like a lot more like you're in a fun flow state and like you're getting to do like a lot of the things you love versus like you're in this like grind mindset of like this is what I have to do. Yeah. With maybe like a nice car. Fuck.
Nice Lambo.
A vintage truck collection. I would love like a vintage truck.
I could see you in a vintage truck for sure.
Dude, that's what I want. That's what I want. Maybe a Lambo, but like I feel like I'd be a lot more like a, yeah. Dude, I've always wanted like an old school Bronco, like a really vintage
I
Bronco.
can see that for sure.
They're not trucks, but like still same vibes. Or a Lambo is nice too.
Lambo, Miami Penthouse.
Maybe sell like 10 courses. It's fine.
Yep. Just LARP.
Just LARP. We should just LARP.
We should.
Dude, I love when like new brain rot things come out, and I'm like LARP max.
LARP
Or
maxing.
I love adding maxing to like anything. I can't even I'll be like, oh, I'm real maxing when I'm like doom scrolling. I don't know, like stupid shit where I'm podcast maxing. Oh, I'm just like social maxing, and I'll be like, go pickleball tournament with you, meet everybody. I've met like 20 people today. It's great.
One last question I wanted to ask you that I ask a lot of my guests is, what do you want to do before you die? Like, what is on your bucket list? Or what are some experiences that you want to have, or like a goal that you want to achieve before you die?
I don't know like how or what it would look like, but my family is South African,
Yeah.
and I've always wanted to like do some kind of like really like impactful work in South Africa, like, and give back to that country in some way, and I don't know how. But like something where you go and you like live and like help rebuild something for like, you know. That's like honestly the most like white cliche answer ever, is like go help in Africa, but genuinely like my whole family still lives there, and like it is one of the most beautiful countries. Like I in fact I like beautiful countries, but the nicest people I've genuinely ever met. Like the most like down to earth, kind, like sure there can be crime rates, but like every city, every country has those. Like South Africa is just like unbeaten. Like it is so nice, and I think that like getting to go there and like build like really great infrastructure to be able to help like the people there would just be like an insane thing to have done. And yeah, it would be really sick.
That would be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give
for
back.
sure.
Give back to South Africa would be awesome. Damn, I just sound like those people who's like, when you win the lottery, what are you gonna do? Give it to charity? It's like, no, what would you actually buy? Because that's how I feel right now. But nah, it's true. I did go help in Africa.
I love
That's what
it.
I want to do.
Give back, Maxing.
Give back.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
That was a great time. That was great meeting you today. And where can people find you?
Find me on the gram, on the Instagram at Jade Sprake, JADESPRAKE. That's where I document my life as much as I can.
Yep.
When I'm not like podcast maxing. Fuck.
Instagram Maxing.
Yeah, real maxing.
Yep.
Yeah, if I was like 10, never mind. It's fine. I'm like gonna start like brain rotting, I feel like.